Michelin chefs. Some of the best known and famous restaurants in the world are run by prodigious individuals who have put in their time, energy, and soul in preparing dishes that surpass cuisines and gastronomy. Looking at them creating such perfect dishes makes us wonder, why would anybody aim for perfection in looks, design, and presentation, especially in a field where taste matters? But these people seem to be of a different class. Whether it's the Las Vegas Michelin chef Joel Robuchon or those in London, they don't aspire to give their customers a full belly with their 18-course meal. It's not about the taste of these chefs, nor about whether you'll visit the restaurant again. Not about ratings, reviews, or customer service. It's about the experience. Spending a minimum of $300 to $400 for dinner service is casual at any Michelin star restaurant. What amazes me is that from the time you enter that place to the time you exit, you're given an experience of a lifetime. Assiduously timed and served meals that have precision, utmost food quality, design, perfect temperature, and one that tantalizes all your taste buds, leave a customer overwhelmed and awestruck. You don't pay for the food, you pay for the experience. A retainer begins his journey with the basic aim of either getting laid, wanting people to like him, becoming a better version of himself, or just experimenting for 90 days to see whether SR is a placebo or not. Days go by and some see drastic changes in their near circle. While most understand that they're surrounded by losers and need to get rid to advance in their journey, others are boycotted and expulsed from their group as they aren't cool anymore. Upon entering the flatline, the retainer finds himself in front of a magical mirror, where every foolish mistake, every thoughtless word, every non-essential friendship, burdensome relationship, and bad choice are presented before him. Before experiencing what it's like to face God and give an account for your sins, SR's flatline acts like a dress rehearsal. The tumultuous flatline changes the retainer inside out. His energy now, even if it longs to rest in the lower chakras, rests above the solar plexus. His heart is changed, his words change, and his thoughts mutate. He becomes wise. His old friends, who haven't met him since he began his SR journey, still think of him as that idiot who had nothing good to come up with. His exes think of him as a sore loser. His previous bosses consider him as a wasted talent who will end up in an old age home once he reaches 60. And others who hate him will continue to hate him as his old self spoke foolishness. But he's changed. Though on the outside he hasn't changed much, internally he's at a level that very few can fathom. No longer irritated, touchy, or mercurial like the sad leftists of our day, the man has found peace. Peace with himself. The peace that people cannot understand. The man doesn't own millions, neither has he been laid, nor an alpha in layman's terms, not a PhD, and certainly not foolish. He's secure and calm, doesn't react to every negative or positive comment on social media, and even though he owns less, his demeanor reveals that he owns a lot. Like a Michelin chef who spends hours, days, and nights perfecting his dishes, the retainer spent his dark days in the flatline, refining his character. Though the flatline hits him long and hard, he knows that relapsing isn't an option. Like a Michelin chef who doesn't get frustrated when the usual vegetables or meat isn't delivered but uses what's at his disposal, the retainer isn't vexed when people call him names, tarnish the SR image, or call him a beta because he isn't laid. He knows his friends now, the true friends who always inspire him. He knows that foolish and fallacious talk is ephemeral, and rather than investing time arguing endlessly with novices, he prefers spending time with that which has built him. Going against the grain of the present culture, he gives an experience to all who come in touch with him. When a hot girl passes by, he doesn't desire her. When someone cool shows off, he isn't amused. When people curse and the crowd mocks, he controls his tongue. When laymen speak of getting laid and being promiscuous, he's secure in his image, as he knows that if energy sits constantly at the lower chakras, one faces a life of despair. People now look at him as someone they cannot be. They ask him for advice. When he speaks, they listen. His moderate admonishment makes people cry. His words are sharper than a double-edged sword. He comes across as someone who has everything sorted out. People consider him a man of purpose. When his exes look at him, they wonder as to how this loser is now surrounded by people who matter. His old friends think that by going away from them, his life has changed and that they were the foolish ones. His previous bosses cannot fathom how successful he has become, and his parents and well-wishers are proud of who he is. No longer is he a footballer who can be kicked around and acquiesces to the wishes of the player. He is the player in the game of life. Now when people meet him, they talk about his days after the meeting. They remember his words more than he remembers them. His subtle actions, his timed words, and just his personality make people want to be near him. SR made him what endless self-development books couldn't, what education couldn't, and what he never cogitated. With his base as SR in every aspect of life, he's no longer an experiment in people's playbooks. He's an experience.